Hello, and welcome to the McTaggart Attack podcast. I'm Kevin McTaggart, and my podcast is how I give my thoughts and opinions on whatever I want. I'm a stand-up comedian who lives in Vermont. If you want to reach me for questions or topics to talk about in the McTaggart Attack podcast, or hell, for bookings, the email address is mctaggartattack@gmail.com. You can also find me on the Twitter at KevMcT. And there is also a Facebook page for the McTaggart Attack podcast as well. And like I said, my podcast is how I give my opinions on whatever the fuck I want to talk about. It can be things that are pissing me off, things I find funny. Sometimes I'll talk about material on this podcast. And basically I'll do whatever I feel like I need to do to it's my podcast. I can do whatever the fuck I want. This is a terrible introduction, but that's fine. I don't care. I do care a little bit. Because first, before we go on, thank you so much for downloading this podcast. Thank you for listening to it. I appreciate it. Hope you've downloaded all of the episodes. They can be found on Podbean or Apple Podcasts, or in most places where you find podcasts. I think I'm on iHeartRadio now. I noticed that recently, so that's fun. But let's get to it, shall we? What I wanted to talk about today was something a bit personal, but personal in a good way, you know? And I wanted to talk about this because I talk about what's on my mind, and this is on my mind right now, and it's a bit self-glamorizing, but I don't give a fuck. I became a stand-up comedian in March and April of 2014. I took a class up in Burlington, ran by Nathan Hartswick, and it was great. You know, the class was basically just, work on material and say it in front of people. And hopefully they laugh. And they laughed. And it was great. And I had my first show on April 21st of 2014. So now I've been doing this for over 5 years now. And a few months after that, in November, I did Vermont's Funniest Comedian for the first time. It's a contest that Nathan and his wife, Natalie Miller, do every year for the past, I think they said last night, 8 years or something like that they've done it for. But I've been in it for 6 of them. And the first year, I didn't make it past the first round, the preliminary round, and I totally expected that. That was 2014. And then 2015 came around, and I was a bit more experienced, and I was expecting to advance, but I didn't. And then, you go and you fix some things, and in 2016, I was better, and I made it to the semifinals, and that was great. Didn't make it to the finals, which was fine. 2017, I tried something a little different with my hardcore comedy championship. And it didn't go well. I mean, the crowd loved it, but I don't think the judges liked me doing 4 minutes of crowd work. It's fine. Whatever. It's different. It's different. Then last year, I went back to just good old me, and I I had a good set. I think I had a good set. I didn't really watch it afterwards. I never really watch it afterwards. And I didn't advance past the preliminary rounds again. So I'd only made it to the semifinals one time in the 5 years that I had done the contest. So this year, I decided what I needed to do, just not just for the contest, but just for my material in general, was just to be more honest, truthful, more personal, talk more about myself, put myself more on the line, I guess. Talk about something that until like 2 years ago, I wasn't really that comfortable talking about, and I decided to joke more about being gay and coming out of the closet and stuff like that, and I've done some material about that this year, and it's gone over really well. And if you want to watch any of it, there's a video on YouTube. It's fine. And I'm still uncomfortable about coming out of the closet because I'm still not out to my parents, even though I kind of think they probably have a good idea, me being a 43-year-old single guy, that I might not like women. Anyway, so yeah, I've done that, and I've just been more me. I've just been more comfortable. I just decided that I needed to like not stop hiding, just be more myself. Just put myself out there more. I forget what the fuck I'm trying to fucking say, but like I just decided to do that, and also I stopped drinking. As you know from previous podcasts, if you don't know, I stopped drinking back in April, and my material's gotten better. It's funny, whenever I stop drinking, my stand-up comedy gets better. That should be a fucking sign that I should never fucking drink again. So, things were going well. It felt good. Stand-up's been going well. My sets have been great, in my opinion. Not maybe good, great. People laugh at everything I've said, for the most part. At shows and whatnot. Maybe not open mics, because, at open mics, you, like, test shit out, and people don't like it, and that's fine, whatever. But I was determined at the contest this year to, talk about more about stuff about me, and like the gay stuff, and so I did that, and I performed last night, Thursday night, August 22nd, 2019, in the preliminary round, and it went over really well. I, of course, knew I could do some stuff better. So, but I the past couple years, I've always they do 2 nights of the preliminary rounds, and I usually do the Thursday night, and because that's the second night, and that's the night that they announced the names right then and there, and so I, um, was here, and I stayed the night here at a Vermont hotel in Essex, Vermont, like 5 or 6 miles away. So I wasn't gonna drive that much afterwards. So, and the past 2 years, I sat in the showroom, and listened to them not announce my name as advancing to the semifinals, and both those times it was depressing and upsetting. In both those times, I was determined to do better the next year, and I did. And then this year, I was reluctant to go into the showroom. Like, I was waiting outside. I watched a few of my friends do their sets for the contest, but then I wanted to be out in the lounge area because it was quieter out there and there were less people, and it let me, focus and think about what I was about to say during when it was my turn. I was 22nd out of 25 people, so I had a long time to wait. Yeah. So, I walked through the showroom. I was gonna sit down, didn't really sit down. Then I walked out of the showroom through another door. Then I went over to the bar, and I'm like, all right, well, I'll pay my tab. Pay my tab. So I pay my tab to Matt at the bar, and I'm talking to him a little bit, and I'm signing, and I give him my receipt, and I'm still talking to him a little bit, and then like I hear Natalie Miller, who was hosting the preliminary rounds, she's like rattling off names. She's saying something. Couldn't tell what it was at first, but then I realized that she was like announcing names, and I'm like, hold on. I told Matt, hold on, I have to go check this out. And like I heard, because they do it alphabetically, and like I heard names that started with J, and I'm like, oh, it's getting close. And then I heard, the K names, and lo and behold, they announced my fucking name, and I'm like, wow. I was happy, I was excited, I was thrilled. I'm still kind of tearing up thinking about it right now. But I walked into the showroom, and they like have the names on their little video screen there, and like I was my first thought was, did they just announce all of the names of all of the people that were in the contest, or are these the people? And like they advanced 30 people to the semifinals. So yeah, I made it to the semifinals this year. I mean, everybody told me I did a good job. My friend Ryan Kenyon told me that I killed it, but he tells me that I kill it all the time. But I felt like I did because they laughed at everything I said, and they laughed well at everything I said. And so yeah, it was great. Oh my god, I made it. I'm in the semifinals now of Vermont's Funniest Comedian for 2018. The semifinals are next Friday, and then the finals are the next day. So it's the 30th and the 31st, and it's great. It's great. Like I was determined not to like worry about how other people did, because that's one thing that I find myself doing. It's like, oh my god, they had a great set. I'm doing nope. Wasn't gonna let that bother me. When I heard that, other people were being congratulated on their great sets, because I can't control any of that. It bugged me for like a second, And then I'm like, oh, nope. Can't focus on how these other people are doing because I need to do what I need to do. So I fucking I just had to worry about doing the best that I could and not, you know, worrying about how this other person do. I can only control the jokes that I tell. I can only control how I tell the jokes. You know, that's all I can do. And I can only control or hope that I tell my jokes well enough that everybody laughs at them. And everyone did. That's all I could fucking do. In previous years, I worried a lot. I worried a lot. And I felt good about it for the most part. And yeah, it's just, I felt good about it. I was nervous. I wasn't really nervous before I went on, but then like I found myself feeling nervous afterwards. You know, or like, oh my God, was that good enough? I just kept thinking to myself, please, I hope that was good enough. But then I was thinking, no, it doesn't matter if it was good enough. Then I'm like, it actually kind of fucking matters if it was good enough. And then trying to talk myself into thinking, okay, well, either way, I'm going to be fine. Because that's what I was thinking. That was my mindset. That's my mindset for most things now. You know, either way, it's going to be good. Either way, there's a reason why this happened. Either way, you know, I went into this with a great attitude, with a good, positive mindset. And I was determined that, you know, if I didn't get it, okay, I would deal with those emotions, but quickly, you know, put them away. But if I did get it, I would cherish how good it feels and hold on to that, and that's what I'm fucking doing. So that's, yeah. And it's now Friday morning, and I feel fucking awesome. It's been a great couple weeks, stand-up comedy-wise, I think, for me. And I'm determined to make this last, to hold on to this for a while. Because Tuesday, I got a message from the guy that runs, from Nick LaValle, who runs the Shastkeen comedy show. One of the people that runs the Shastkeen comedy show in Manchester, asking me if I could come do a guest spot on that. You know, so the day before I did the contest, I went down to Manchester, New Hampshire to do a 5 to 7 spot there, and I felt like that really helped. And I had a really good talk with Nick afterwards, and got some good advice from him, and I applied some of that to my set last night, and it went over really well. And so, like, I didn't really care how, that's one thing that I didn't really care how I did, because Wednesday night was so great that I wasn't going to let what happened last night affect how great I felt Wednesday. And so yeah, and but Thursday went well, and you know, I'm on to the semifinals next Friday, and I can only do what I can do. You know, I'll work on some stuff. I'll figure out what, you know, what to add to the set. I think I have a good idea what I'm gonna do. I'm just gonna focus on this and write it out, and figure out what to say, what to do. And I'm really looking forward to next weekend with the semifinals and the finals, because quite frankly, I have to think that. I can't, like, I used to think, oh, I probably won't make it. No, you can't. I can't. Most of my life, I've gone through with like a pessimistic attitude, honestly. Because like I like to brace for the worst possible outcome. But you know what happens when you brace for the worst possible outcome? The worst possible outcome happens. Maybe not the worst possible outcome happens, but what you didn't want to happen, right? If you're not expecting it to happen, if you don't put forth the effort, you know, if you don't have the right mindset and think that you're not going to do it, then you know what? You're not going to do it. You have to go into it thinking that you're going to do it. I'm going into this thinking that I'm going to win this fucking contest this year. I have to do that. I do that every year. But now it's not, I hope I win. It had always been like, oh, I hope I win. Blah, blah, blah. This year, and from now on, with everything, it's like, I'm going to do this. And I have to put forth the effort and do what's necessary to do it. And if I don't do it, it's because I wasn't good enough. And if I'm not good enough this year, I'm trying again next year, and the next year, and the next year, until I win this goddamn contest. What else was I going to talk about? But yeah, it's great. Very happy. But I was determined to feel happy and feel good about it either way. I used the contest as a barometer to figure out what I need to fix or change or work on. And I do that every year, and for the most part, it works. And this year, it's working, and it will continue to work because I'm going to work this week on my material and figure out, if I need to tweak anything, change the order of some jokes or whatnot. Just take advice, use the advice that I've gotten from a few people around fellow comedians whose opinions I trust, and try to do that and go into the finals and go on to the finals and win this whole damn thing. But I can't win it if I don't put forth the effort, and I have to put forth the effort and have the right positive mindset. It's weird trying to have a positive mindset because I've never had one of those before. I listened to this audiobook from Jen Sincero that says you're a badass, and it struck a chord with me, and it's just I try to embrace the good things in life now and not try to focus on the bad stuff. I used to expect bad things to happen. So when you expect bad things to happen, bad things will happen. But now I just try to stick and think about the positive and how good things feel, and not let good feelings get overwhelmed by negative thoughts that things aren't going to go well. And that's how I am. That's what's going on with me right now. And I'm so fucking happy that I made it to the semifinals last night. And it's great. And I could barely talk last night. I'm just standing in the room looking at my name. I still check the website now to make sure that I'm on the list. But yeah, I'm a semifinalist, and that's fucking great. And I'm really fucking excited about that. And I'm looking forward to next Friday. But I've said that already. Quit fucking rambling. Quit rambling, Kevin. Oh, alright. Well, that's all I've got for this episode. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for the downloads. All of that. It's great. I have a lot of work to do. I also have the day off today. I don't know what the fuck I'm going to do today. Whatever the fuck I want. And that's the bottom line. If you smell what the McTaggart Attack podcast is cooking.